Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. The Fed's recent interest rate hike will impact the way many of us borrow and spend money. Our Josh Feldberg spoke to a financial advisor about the impact it will have on families in the southern tier.
It's no secret that the economy has been going through some uncertainty over the last months. With rising inflation and the federal government increasing interest rates again, it can be hard to understand how this all affects us. Big Fox spoke with Gary Hobbold, Co-Chief Investment Officer at Burns Madison Capital Management, to understand what is happening.
The Federal Reserve is raising short-term interest rates to try and slow the economy, and slowing the economy will cause the rate of inflation to moderate.
By employing this method, inflation is expected to go down. However, this will raise the rates for short-term borrowings from banks or other financial institutions. One area that is being impacted by this is the housing market.
That's really where the most direct and immediate impact of higher interest rates is felt, is directly in the housing market. And the housing market is a very important part of the economy.
The housing market is a big player in the economy. When houses aren't being sold, it slows other industries like roofing, plumbing, and real estate. It can also affect secondary industries like furniture and appliances. While there is a lot of economic uncertainty right now, and economists are trying to understand if we are headed for a recession or not, the future may be looking bright.
The U.S. economy is one of the strongest and best economies in the world. And if you focus on the intermediate to long term, the outlook is really quite good. So this is a bump in the road that we're dealing with.
Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Corning.
We are rounding out a week of economic data, and there's more bad news. The number the Federal Reserve watches to determine how bad inflation is, showing it's at numbers not seen since the 1980s. Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with more.
We're not seeing a worsening inflation situation. We're just not making the progress that we need.
Yet another worse than expected economic report out Friday morning. The Federal Reserve's preferred marker of inflation from the Commerce Department showed a big increase. Inflation up 6.8% over a year ago. Prices were up 1% month to month, and consumer spending was up 0.1%, just outpacing inflation, showing that shoppers are still pulling out their wallets.
We estimate the average family has lost about $4,000 in the last 12 months in terms of their wages and salaries not keeping up with the cost of living.
Wednesday, the Fed announced interest rates would increase another 0.75%. And Thursday, the gross domestic product report found the economy contracted by 0.9% in the second quarter, after shrinking in the first quarter as well.
To say it's not a recession is, I think, a reach. It's theoretically possible, but it is highly, highly unlikely.
Ronald Reagan said it famously and said, hey, a recession is when your neighbor loses their job. A depression is when you lose your job. Well, the numbers from the labor market are just not adding up to have a recession.
And in Congress, Democrats are trying to move forward with the Inflation Reduction Act, but Republicans say that spending bill will only pour gas on the fire. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
The president scored a victory of sorts when West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin agreed to a deal on a revived Build Back Better spending plan. Republicans are already slamming the bill, calling it Build Back Broke, and saying it will devastate American families and businesses. And Democrats fear the president may have to abandon support for another core issue, gay marriage. Aisha Hasni has the latest from Capitol Hill.
I've never been in reverse in my lifetime.
A defiant Senator Joe Manchin firing back at accusations that he flip-flopped when he brokered a $740 billion drug, energy, and tax deal with Senate Leader Chuck Schumer. The pair says by increasing the corporate tax rate, reforming prescription drug pricing, and expanding IRS enforcement, the package will reduce the deficit by $300 billion. It also invests $369 billion in climate change provisions, including expanding the $7,500 tax credits for new electric car purchases. Republicans say it'll only add to out-of-control inflation.
A reckless taxing and spending spree that will delight the far left and hammer working families even harder.
I know I'm not adding to inflation.
While Democrats rejoice, some quietly fear the surprise deal could cost other items on their agenda. Last night, a procedural vote on legislation to help veterans exposed to burn pits shockingly failed. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says Republicans want to vote on an amendment to cap future expenditures.
This is total bull. This is the worst form of over-politicization.
They haven't met a war they won't sign up for, and they haven't met a veteran they won't screw over.
Some Democrats wonder if they may have also lost GOP support for a gay marriage bill. And House Republicans attempted to block the $250 billion CHIPS Plus bill and apply pressure on vulnerable Democrats after what appears to be Manchin outmaneuvering McConnell, who only voted for that bill after Manchin previously backed away from climate spending.
And all of this comes as Senator Manchin is still out sick with COVID, and now the number 2 Democrat in the Senate, Senator Dick Durbin, is also positive. Senator Schumer, though, telling reporters that they will persevere, and he hopes to bring this bill to a vote on the Senate floor next week. On Capitol Hill, I'm Aisha Hasni, Fox News. The city of Elmira is removing homeless encampments from under Clemens Parkway Bridge. The bridge has been used as a shelter for many of the city's homeless population. After receiving complaints about the camp, city officials told the people taking refuge there to leave willingly. If they did not, the city would remove the camp. Back in April of 2021, the city of Elmira received $1 million in homeless assistance funding from the American Rescue Plan. The second confirmed case of monkeypox has been identified in Tompkins County. The Tompkins County Health Department concluded that there were no local close contacts with the infectious person. The health department is reminding residents to be aware of symptoms and to take precautions to reduce personal risk. More than 1,000 monkeypox cases have been reported in New York State so far. Shark sightings are on the rise in the waters off Long Island. Patrol boats and drones will be added to the roster, as well as vigilant lifeguards to alert swimmers of any possible shark sightings. At least 6 people have reportedly been bitten in the last month off New York's southern shores. Drone video captured by a lifeguard off Jones Beach shows a large shark chasing a school of fish earlier this month.
They've had the sharks all the way in 5-10 feet of water, right, 20 feet off the beach in a couple places, but I want to say it's normal for them to be that tight unless they're really chasing some schools of bait fish that are up onto the surface by the breaking waves.
Environmental experts say some factors blamed for the uptick in shark sightings are cleaner oceans, warmer water temperatures, and a resurgence of bunker fish that sharks feed on. Your complete weekend forecast is next. Plus,
here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm meteorologist Sam Ryan. As we look back at temperatures, we started off, looks like the beginning of the week, Sunday, 94 degrees, 87 on Monday, 80 Tuesday, 85 Wednesday, Thursday at 89. Had a little bit of rainfall earlier on in the week, and then of course here Friday, that whole system's passing by to our east as we wake up and go into the overnight really, but waking up here Saturday morning, everything will be pushed off. So 66 degrees here at midnight, 60 at 3 a.m., 58 around 6 a.m., and notice clear skies out there, light winds out of the west northwest. That's going to bring in cooler air. It's going to be a beautiful afternoon here Saturday. Maybe you have plans to be outside. The sunrise will occur 5:58, maybe some cloud cover still around all the way until the midday hours, and then that begins to clear out as well. Still looking at plenty of sunshine though, even through that. 8:28 p.m. will be the sunset time for Saturday. Looking at 14 hours, 29 minutes of daylight. A week from now, we'll have lost 15 minutes and 21 seconds of daylight. So days are getting a little bit shorter here. Slight breeze out here for Saturday. I guess technically it would be called a brisk wind since it's out of the northwest. They'll bring on also some cooler temperatures. Now the winds are going to be overly strong. We're looking at gusts maybe 20 to 25 miles per hour, perhaps in a few locales some around 27 miles per hour. That's about it. But you'll feel it, and it'll feel kind of fall-ish outside. Yeah, I said it. I can say that confidently because, and I can say that safely without being ridiculed, because as we head into next week, well, that's all going to change. We have a big heat wave and the dog days of summer that will be settling in. Storm track well down to our south along a stalled frontal boundary, so high pressure dominates for our day Saturday. We'll wake up mid to upper 50s out there, and then daytime highs climbing into the upper 70s, again below average for this time of the year. You can see it's rather quick. We get up to around 80 already by 2 p.m. So upper 70s to low 80s around the region. Average high is 84. Again, feeling just beautiful with lower humidity outside. And then Sunday, we're going to have temperatures warm up a couple more degrees. Now, by Sunday night into the day Monday, we do have a system moving in from the west that will kick up a warm front eventually. So we'll see a little bit of increasing cloud cover late Sunday. High temperatures Sunday, upper 80s, quite a bit warmer than the average. And then on Monday, Tuesday, that will bring in a chance for a few showers and storms to the area. Doesn't look like anything real strong or heavy right now, but there will be a chance of storms. Isolated Monday, chance of storms Tuesday, 89, 86. Then we start to heat up. So 91 Wednesday. And by Thursday, Friday, a lot of areas could end up seeing triple-digit temperatures. You heard me say it here.
Let's face it, traveling can be tough on ourselves, our wallets, and the environment. But a new line of flying boats could be a game changer, offering faster, cheaper, and climate-friendly coastal flights. Ashley Strohmeyer has an exciting look.
What do you get when you cross a ferry with an airplane? A new mode of transportation promising to revolutionize the way we travel.
They are for high-speed, low-cost, totally sustainable regional transportation.
Boston-based company Regent unveiling the Sea Glider, a fully electric flying boat designed to get passengers to their coastal destinations quicker, with less hassle, and doing it all without harming the environment.
6 to 10 times faster than ferries and half the cost of an aircraft. And it beats the door-to-door time on both and completely eliminates emissions.
The Sea Glider features hydrofoils, a type of underwater wing that lifts its hull out of the water, ensuring a fast and smooth takeoff, even in choppy waves.
These hydrofoils give us this high degree of wave tolerance, up to 5 feet of wave tolerance in harbors, which is basically a hurricane in most harbors.
Once in the air, the craft flies at extremely low altitudes, allowing it to reach speeds up to 180 miles per hour. And because it'll be stationed at docks instead of airports, company officials say it can eliminate the extra travel time associated with traditional flights.
You're traveling to the airport, you're waiting in security, even boarding can take a half hour, and deboarding.
Using the current batteries on the market, the early models will be able to fly routes up to 180 miles, with 500-mile trips expected in the future. So far, officials at Regent have received orders for roughly 400 Sea Gliders. The first version, called Viceroy, will carry 12 passengers, with commercial flights expected to start in 2025. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
Environmental scientists at UC Davis are concerned that wildfires and climate change are having dramatic impacts. In the annual State of the Lake report, those scientists break down the most concerning issues facing Lake Tahoe. Garage Paul Sanga is in South Lake Tahoe with the story.
On a summer evening at Lake Tahoe, the sound of the waves isn't the only thing hitting the shore. People enjoying the summer concert series and taking in the beautiful view.
Look at the view, I mean, come on. Look at the backdrop.
While that scenery is something to take in, what washes onto the beach can't be ignored.
What I'm shocked to see is that stuff. They need to clean up the algae.
Larry Miller says it needs to be taken care of quickly, and that is one of the issues highlighted in this year's Tahoe State of the Lake report.
This is an opportunity.
And this year's report highlights the collapse of the zooplankton, the shrinkage of the Myasis shrimp population, and abrupt change to the free-floating algae and algae growth impacting the Tahoe shoreline. UC Davis Dr. Jeffrey Schlato says they are more concerned about the decline in zooplankton, which is an important part of the lake's ecosystem and helps mitigate the growing algae problem.
But what we're pretty sure is happening is that the areas that are affected are increasing.
Dr. Schlato says the decline in Maiace's shrimp population will most likely come back, but since its population is low right now, it will likely increase the lake's clarity, essentially meaning the fewer shrimps in the lake, the clearer the water becomes.
This is our chance to do it. We may not be able to get rid of them again for another 50 years.
But the dramatic changes are attributed to two things: climate change and wildfires. Last summer's Caldor fire threatened the Lake Tahoe region, and other fires brought smoke into the basin. But the report adds that those fires attributed to the increase in algae and particle levels. It's an effort to keep Tahoe blue, but external forces are making that job difficult.
I really don't see where all the millions of dollars is going for cleaning up the lake.
Still ahead, restaurants bouncing back from COVID are now struggling to deal with the impacts of inflation. That story and more coming up. Instacart defies the frozen IPO market. There's a new call to reduce private vehicles, and an aircraft that doubles as a car gets the green light. CJ Papa has today's business briefs.
Instacart is reportedly planning to go public before the end of the year, in what has turned into one of the slowest years for IPOs in more than a decade. The Wall Street Journal reports the grocery delivery company is considering a traditional IPO after previously leaning toward a direct listing. Instacart was a big winner during the height of the pandemic, but growth has cooled as Americans return to in-store shopping. The World Economic Forum is looking to reduce ownership of private vehicles, the forum claiming it's a way to reduce a global reliance on critical metals like cobalt and lithium as they make a push towards green energy, noting that vehicle sharing initiatives have become increasingly popular around the world and are key in reducing the number of cars and electronics needed globally. And from road to sky, a new flying car receiving FAA approval for flight testing, and it could be up in the air within weeks. It's called the Switchblade. So like a pocket knife, the wings slip into the belly of the vehicle so it can move from air to road. The company, Samson Sky, has been testing for 2 weeks. The price tag is expected to be about $170,000. For more stories, log on to foxbusiness.com. In New York, I'm CJ Papa.
Restaurants around the nation are facing yet another challenge. This time, it's inflation. Many who thought they were bouncing back from the pandemic now say they're struggling to survive due to high prices. We get that story from Travis Rice.
Fries are extra. That's the cost of inflation in 3 words at Ronnie's Kitchen in Hollywood.
The economy right now is not hospitable. It's definitely not in our favor or the consumer's favor at the moment.
Robert Vinegar has experienced a lot in his time running restaurants, but he says he's never seen prices like this.
Every week the prices fluctuate. So one day you can have our oil that we use can be $40, and the next day it's $30, when we originally started paying $15. Commodities like cheese and all these kind of things fluctuate all the time. So it's very difficult for us. One week we get an order and we're unexpected. We're blindsided because the price has just gone up.
He and Chef Ronnie Munoz opened up this 3-in-1 restaurant concept in March. Vinegar says it's been a knife fight trying to get customers at the table during the COVID era.
It's very difficult. A lot of the new people that don't know who we are, and they come show up here for the first time because they read about us or they heard about us, and then they come and they're like, oh my God, it's a $14 sandwich with no French fries. Some people are nice about it, and some people go back and leave bad reviews because they came to a place and they bought a $14 sandwich with no sides.
Have you had people honestly complain about a sandwich with no sides?
Unfortunately, we have.
This restaurant just wants patrons to know they're wincing at the tab like everyone else.
Our prices go up just the same for them as they go to the supermarket. So, just be kind, be mindful about it, and know that we're doing our best to keep our prices as low as possible, but still give the best service and the best quality food to all of our consumers.
Don't write a 1-star review over fries?
Listen, there's been 1-star reviews for smaller things than fries.
Stay with us. We'll have more right after the break. We want to leave you with a smile. A heroic 7-year-old boy saves a toddler from drowning. It happened at an apartment complex pool in Sacramento. Messiah Brown saw the 3-year-old struggling underwater and resurfaced to ask one of his family members what he should do. They told Messiah to grab the toddler, so he went back underwater and pulled him to the surface. Adults with CPR training rushed in to save the toddler as the Sacramento Fire Department provided medical assistance. The 3-year-old was breathing normally by the time he was transported to a hospital. I'm Scott Beadle. Thanks so much for watching.